Hey, what's up, YouTube? My name's Ethan,
And I'm Marcel.
and we're gonna do a movie review. Our channel is To See or Not to See, where basically each week we're gonna go see a movie into theaters, and then leave a review right here on YouTube about just basically our thoughts, opinions, and what we thought of the movie.
Yeah. So Ethan and I are both studying film at BYU, and we both kind of come from different sides of the filmmaking world. So Ethan does a little bit more, well, at least he has a little bit more knowledge of the technical stuff than I do, whereas I tend to be a little bit more on the art side. So a lot of the discussion that we have kind of has both of us sort of pointing out different parts of films that we've noticed that we think are good and are bad based off of the knowledge that we have, and yeah, just kind of teaching each other about like things that we've noticed, and sometimes arguing about things. But yeah.
Yeah, and if you watched the last video, which was a review of Alita Battle Angel, at the end we said that we were going to review a movie called Giant Little Ones. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that because it's not showing in theaters here in Utah. So instead, we decided to go and see The Upside, and we're going to review that. So I'll start with you. What were your general thoughts and opinions for The Upside?
So overall, I really liked the film. I thought it was a very, I thought it did what it was supposed to as a feel good film. I left and I felt good. I wouldn't say it's anything astounding. It's not gonna get picked to win anything at the Oscars, but but it was still good. I liked it. I did.
Yeah. So just to give you a little summary, and spoiler warning, we will go over in some detail about the summary of the film and the plot of the film. So if you haven't seen it, maybe go watch that first, and then come back and watch our video. But basically the movie's about Bryan Cranston, who plays a quadriplegic person who can't move from the neck down, and he's in need of a caretaker. And in comes Kevin Hart, who was just recently released from prison, and part of his parole is that he needs to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's kind of on a job search, and he accidentally runs into Bryan Cranston's character, and he hires Kevin Hart to become his caretaker. And it's really cool, it's really funny, it's just two different sides. Bryan Cranston's character is very wealthy, whereas Kevin Hart's character is not so wealthy. He came from a very harder background. So it's playing off these two sides, and the other cool thing is it's based on a true story. It's inspired by a true story. So I really like it when film brings in truth from the outside world. I think there's a lot of merit to that when it is able to bring a true story to a larger audience that didn't necessarily know about the story. So
Yeah. So I guess that's part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, because I have family who kind of have similar stories to this one, coming from a harder background and choosing to change your life, like make a complete 180 out of what everyone expected you to be and what everyone around you is, but like making things out for the better for yourself, despite everything that you've been through, and the fact that there really isn't a lot of encouragement coming from around you or even resources to do so, but making your way and changing things.
for sure, yeah, I think both characters had really strong messages. With Kevin Hart's character, there was this message of and theme of like second chances and becoming a better person and not letting your previous actions define who you are, and not judging a character based on their previous actions. And I think with Bryan Cranston's character, there was this message and theme of so he couldn't move from the neck down. So throughout the whole film, he's kind of pushing people away. He didn't want to live. That will to live was gone. So this message of like hope, and even through like hard times and difficult situations, that there is stuff to live for, and that just the most random people in your life could be the biggest influence. So to look for that and to always be open to other people's like affection. other people's like wanting to help. So I think those messages were really strong, and I think that's what gave this movie some merit. I think this movie isn't a cinematic masterpiece in terms of like elements such as like cinematography or editing or anything like crazy like that, but I think I think it did well in certain areas, but I think the basis of this movie is drawn from its theme and from its messages of second chances and hope and the will to live and stuff like that, which are really powerful messages and things that we deal with every day as humans. So I feel like I really like this movie just because of that. I think Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart both had really strong acting performances. I think their chemistry really played well together. There was always this low key kind of like a kind of subtle love toward each other that you could feel throughout the film, which was really nice. So I really liked their acting styles together, and I really liked Kevin Hart kind of breaching out more into like the dramatic role. I mean, this did have some comedic moments, but I think a lot of I think this was one of his more serious roles, and I think he did a really good job being in a dramatic role, for sure. And so I think I like this movie based probably purely on the message, the theme, and the acting performances of Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. Um, and I think it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, it's a heartwarming, charming film. So don't expect to get a ton more out of it than that. But I don't think you need to get more out of it than that. I think that was what the filmmaker intended to get out of it, and I think that's good enough, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean I agree. Coming from more of like the art side, I would say like the sets were really cool. They were really nice. Like the cities and the places that they went to, like you see a lot of like the differences between their lives and the world that they live in, and like watching them visit those places, like opposite of what they have. It like really helped to give more of like a visual of like the background of these characters and like the vast space between the worlds that they have lived in throughout their lives. Which added depth to their character for sure. I think it was well costumed. The colors were pretty. I think it was like pretty well edited. I think there were a couple of cinematography shots that I thought were like kind of cool or like kind of trippy for a second. So that was fun. That they like threw a couple little fun things in there like that. But like overall, like it was just a movie.
I noticed there were a lot of close-ups.
Yeah, Ethan didn't like all the close-ups. I liked them. I thought it was cool.
I walked out of that movie and I'm like, man.
He was so frustrated.
It was just there was so many close-ups on people's faces.
Yeah, I liked them.
It wasn't bad. It was just a lot to take in.
Yeah, but you also don't like people being in your personal space.
That's true. That's true. So maybe that's more than me. That's than the general audience. But that was me. I didn't like the close-ups.
Other people probably understood that. So I liked it.
Yeah.
So.
But I definitely agree. I thought the locations were really cool. I thought the different when we focused on Kevin Hart's character, we were kind of in the more slummed area of New York, right? The more broken down, and then we were focused on Bryan Cranston's character. It was more this like rich, wealthy, really nice, elegant places.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really fun. I did like the ending shot with the paragliding.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
That was cool.
So, it had really cool moments, really cool, cool messages. Again, there wasn't anything like super special in terms of cinematic elements. Like we've seen most of this stuff before, but I don't think this movie was trying to go out and break barriers in terms of cinematic, technical stuff. I think it was more focused on the story, the message, and I think the acting was the centerpiece of the film, which I think both Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, they both had really good, like solid characters and like a good. They just had like a good chemistry too. Mm-hmm. Like their relationship was very like real.
Yeah.
there were a couple of moments that the conflict felt a little forced.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. I think I think that was the one part of the story that I really didn't like was just the conflict. I feel like conflict's really hard in especially stories that are based on true stories, because sometimes it's not there, but the audience expects it, so you have to kind of come up with it, but you want to come up with it in a natural way,
Yeah.
which is really difficult for writers.
So sometimes you just like embellish things.
Yeah, so
that
there's
were really,
they take the true they take the true story and they want to embellish it, right? They want to get 3 hours of captivate to captivate their audience for 3 hours, right? And in order to do that, the audience expects rise and fall and conflict, and sometimes stories that are true don't have that, so writers have to come up with a way to bring it in naturally, and I feel like unfortunately that didn't happen in this film. I feel like a lot of it was forced, a lot of it was kind of inserted when the writer felt like it was necessary rather than when the story asked of it, I think it was just very, very choppy in terms of conflict and resolution, and I think that was probably the only glaring bad part of the film.
Yeah.
But I feel like the message and the theme kind of make up for some of the technical and writing failures.
I think that's fair. And I did agree with you when we talked about it before, when you said that you felt like all the conflict was very quick to begin and very quick to end. So that was kind of
with stories you want it to kind of build over time.
Yeah.
Right. You want to bring it in a place.
And technically, overall it did, but every little piece of the conflict was just suddenly there's a problem and it's over.
Yep.
And it just there was still that tension, the underlying tension that was still building, but the pieces of tension that got them there were just kind of awkwardly placed and very condensed with very.
Yeah, it started really fast. It started really fast and ended really fast.
Yeah.
There was this overall conflict of Bryan Cranston's character pushing people away.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole film, but that I feel like even that was kind of really low at times, and all of a sudden it shot up.
Yeah.
And then it got resolved real fast.
Yeah.
There wasn't much.
It just felt unnatural.
Yeah, it just wasn't natural. The conflict and the story wasn't natural.
Yeah. But overall, the movie did what it was supposed to do. It had this good message, and the whole idea of being able to open your life up and open your heart up to somebody who you usually wouldn't, and being able to learn from them and grow from them, mentally, emotionally, just socially, and just everything else, I think is something that our world really could use, the idea of being more open to experiences with people that you wouldn't usually associate with, or the hope that you can change your life for the better no matter what circumstances you came from. And overall, I did feel good when I left this movie. But I think a little bit of the frustration that I always have with feel-good movies at the end is that I don't feel like they always reach out to the audience that they're supposed to. Because a lot of people that I feel come to feel-good movies are people, who obviously, their lives aren't perfect, but Kevin Hart's character is this guy that just got out of jail. And, having had a lot of family members who have been in jail, I can say that, if they had been in a big group of their prison buddies and one day, it's movie day at the prison that they're at, and because they do activities and stuff, and if you give them the option to watch the upside or like a superhero movie, which still has substance, but like they're gonna pick the superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I just wish that there was more of a way to market these films towards the people that they could that could really, really use the influence. So
Yeah, and I think the good thing about this movie is I feel like it has two powerhouse actors in Bryan Cranston and
that's
Kevin
true.
Hart.
Kevin Hart.
So I think people are going to go see these movies just based on those names alone.
That's true. Bryan Cranston is also.
So and you can't fault the filmmaker for for like the audience not seeing it. Like he did his best trying to get the movie out there.
Yeah.
So now it's our job to get the movie to see it and to spread the word to have other people go see it. So I see where you're coming from for sure, and I think having those two actors will help that for sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. But for me, I don't think it's a must see. But I do think it is a see. I think everyone should see this movie. I think it has merit in terms of the message and the themes that we've mentioned previously. And I think it did what film is supposed to do. Film is supposed to get us to change and become better people and to think differently, and to see other people in a better light and to grow. And I think this film definitely instilled those messages in people, and that's why I love film. I feel like film gives the platform for stories that most people wouldn't hear of, like this true story, and to bring it to light and to bring it to a bigger audience and to allow the filmmaker's ideology and beliefs to be shown through this film, and we can talk to the filmmaker without necessarily even talking to him or seeing him. It's really cool. I think that's why this film has merit, is purely based on why film is even around, is to spread good messages and themes and ideas to a large audience.
Yeah, I think it happens all too often that, and it's sort of a necessary thing every once in a while. You need to go do something to just get your mind off of something, and a lot of people turn to movies to do that. There's a healthy amount of escapism, but it does bother me when people get upset with films for doing things like this. For trying to make social change and impact, or for putting out political statements and other things like that. Whereas with other art forms of art, we expect that and it's more okay. But with film, people get a little bit more riled up and get angry, like, why do these filmmakers think that they have any say? And it's like, well, we're people too, and like, we're trying to have our influence on the world. We just do it in our own way. And I mean, film initially was made to capture real life. It was made to capture facts. People started using film to test scientific theories and different things like that, and to remember real life and real issues and real good things and bad things and sad things and everything. And I think that that's important for us to to not be lazy consumers and let ourselves go to movies and allow ourselves to have open minds and open hearts, because there have been so many movies that have influenced my life, because I've gone to them open to have my mind changed and to have my heart changed, and I know it's all been for the better.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard because with film, yes, it's an entertainment, but it's also art, and I feel like people forget that it's art. I feel like with other art forms, people approach it in a way that they're already open to being changed or to having it affect them. However, with film, I feel like a lot of people go and see film closed off just purely for the entertainment, which is sad because there's so much art that is in the film that could affect someone if you just opened up and let it affect you, right? And I agree. I think what I like about film is that it gives the filmmaker a stage to share his political ideas or beliefs, whether we agree with it or not. You know, I feel like we have to have respect to those filmmakers because they're just using their source that they've been trained to use to share what they believe in. Um, and so that's why I love film, is because it gives people that opportunity to share and to show larger audiences why they think something matters. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you answer the question? Did you see, must see, don't see? What do you think about this film?
See?
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm still not in the place where it's like, oh my gosh, you must see it, but yeah, see it. I think.
All right. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought about The Upside in the comments below. And next week we're gonna go see Captain Marvel and leave a review right here on YouTube for that film. Again, unless otherwise you want us to see a different film, you can leave that title in the comments below, and we might go see that, but probably not because I really want to go see Captain Marvel. So,
I feel like this is a regular thing that you're like, if you want us to go see another one, then we will, but probably not because
Probably
this
not.
is what I want.
I have a schedule and I really want to see all the films, so yeah, you don't have to put a title. It's okay. But yeah, thanks for watching, and catch us next week.